Hello, people. I'm just going to jump right into it. It's Friday. I just got my house opened up, settled, sorta, and I am okay. I am literally getting my day started as I sit here. Every morning, what's my routine? It's pretty simple. But enough of that. Let me jump to this before I forget it. And let me check the comments today. Yesterday, some folks felt compelled to share a lot in the comments. I think that my tribute to Mike Pender of Moody Blues may have triggered it, and that's good. And I just want to share with you folks that even if I don't necessarily personally respond to you, if something happens here on the channel that compels you to share something about yourselves, go ahead. It's healing and it's helpful to you. It's a good thing. So I see there's several. Okay, so let me just go ahead. Several things in my mind, so we'll see what I get done. Okay. Spot on with that discussion regarding being honest with people. I'm 53, and it does seem that it's harder to be honest and direct with people because they're younger. That's part of it because of what's passed on and what's not passed on. There's a lot of skills and a lot of values that are not being passed on. People are easily offended. Yeah, stop the madness. And I meant to ask, did you ever consider early on horn playing? Well, this is someone who doesn't know my story. I've been on here over 10 years. I've told my story. I come from a family of musicians, and I started out on flute. Then I moved to saxophone, and that wasn't working. I tried trumpet. That didn't work. I settled on French horn and baritone horn. Played that throughout high school. Made all city orchestra. I played by sight. I don't know that I'm dyslexic. I just really have difficulty reading music, and so I would learn things by ear and could fool. I mean, people thought I was reading. I was just listening. Yep. So yeah. Yeah. Toys Ripped All is excellent. Right. I'm glad that people are going back and looking at stuff. Like, for example, another person here shared that the Moody Blues literally saved their life, like me. Cool. Cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I had a bit of an exchange with Richard from Fourth Dimension. If you see it on your FDR records, they send me good stuff. The latest thing that I reviewed from them was the Mummies and Madmen. But they also put out, I should say, because I'm gathering that people are doing what I'm doing, which is it's just one or two people making things happen. Fourth Dimension Records. It sounds like it's Richard is a labor of love, and he's doing it and doing a whole lot of other things. But I'm really not surprised to find that Richard is actually a very nice person. From the little interaction that we're having, which has increased. All this harsh, dark music. And you could stereotypically think that the person that's putting it out is some kind of sour, dour, antisocial person. Come to see that Richard is a teacher, among other things. So I'm glad to be in his circle, and also glad to report a couple things. I had mentioned that I would was going to have Edward Caspell back on. Richard shared with me that he's going to be putting out another Edward Caspell record. I just heard from Edward this morning, and he said that he's been busy, but that he would be happy to come on next week. So we're going to see about having him on either next Tuesday or Wednesday. A return visit with Edward Caspell of Legendary Pink Dots to discuss his latest recordings and whatever else he wants to. I put it out there that, Richard just talked to Stephen Wilson, and that, I'd love it. So Richard dropped Stephen a line, and it looks like it might happen next month. We'll see. That's pretty cool. I would just like to just make Steve's acquaintance. He really seems pretty nerdy like me about record collecting. So that's what I'd like to connect on. Looks like it could happen. So we'll see. Cheers, people. A couple other things. So I see through social media, I think I see now what happened to Blake. And it's no wonder he got mad at me, because I knew this was going to happen, and I was telling him, don't do it, and he did it anyway. He got talked into taking on something, a big project that he was real open. He didn't want to do it, but I love Blake. And Blake, I'm not airing your dirty laundry. I'm sharing this about you. You are the sort of person who feels sorry for people, and you'll end up doing things that you regret because you feel sorry, thinking that you're supposed to do something to help, and that's the wrong motivation. And it looks like that's what's happened again. And I warned him. He said, "Don't do that. What the fuck are you gonna do that for?" And he did it, and now it's all falling apart. Bet you. Anyway, I'll find out next week. That's, providing everything goes like it's supposed to. We're supposed to rehearse for our first reunion of Chemicals. The band is getting back together, minus the original drummer, but a new young drummer from Lincoln. And Harrison is good. Yeah. I do think that there have been a lot of good things that have fallen by the wayside over the years. I've watched it myself because of technology, because of the changes in society. When youth culture took a hold of society like it had never done before in history, I got to be a part of it, even though it was happening before I was born. In the 40s, I think. But the 50s and 60s is really when teen culture exploded and created, in a way, this chasm that some say was jumped on immediately by people behind the scenes, like the Tavistock people, where they would use teen culture for political purposes, for other agendas. And so it just seems like a lot of good stuff has gone by the wayside. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just musing out loud. Some of you may understand where I was trying to go with that. We need to be more adult. We need to teach children instead of worrying about being their friends. So some music that got played yesterday, because did I spend a lot of time playing music yesterday? No, actually I didn't. I did not. I'm not going to write a book, but I do write. I did some writing yesterday. But I listened to this, Cyborg Sally by Richard Pinhas and John Livengood. Mr. Pinhas of Helden fame from France on the Souffle in Continu label. Beautiful red vinyl. Highly influenced by Robert Fripp, but he took it to a whole new place of his own. This is real good. This is just really good. droning, buzzing guitars, interesting percussion, soundscapes. I love it. I listened to this all the way through on CD last night, although I have the album. Levitation. Is this Need for Not? Is it quickly? No, it's over there. The album cover. I like the graphics. Terry Bickers from House of Love started this band after he quit House of Love. And talk about, boy, what a difference. Nothing like House of Love. Interesting how parts of a whole can be really different when taken apart, and when they come together, that's why they create something so powerful and good. House of Love is an example. I still love that band. And Terry Bickers did bring something special to the band that they lost when he left. Felt like going here yesterday, so I listened to a couple of sides of this. Cabaret Voltaire. Was it because I was talking to Richard that this came to mind? Possibly, this stuff is not far from this. Okay? This is an album that Richard Kirk made just before he died. It's like these came out, then I found out like he passed away. But he put out 2 albums, of possibly 3. I grabbed 2, and there might be another, but this one is Dekadrone, and then there's another one, Benign Drone. I played a bit of both of these, and similar to the Mummies and Madmen. It sets up like a soundscape, literally like an environment. But for me, the most successful things like this are when you set up an environment that either grows or undulates, or through one way or another, it keeps your interest, or it draws you in and out. And that's what those do. And I don't mind saying it, the second piece on this does that. Grow Dark in the Sun does that. Just a quick, these aren't reviews. I'm letting you know, Martin, if you see this, I got these. I'll review them soon. Discus Music is badass. It's a killer label. I love the aesthetic. I love the daring of Martin. It's modern contemporary music outside the bounds of jazz and rock, and incorporates them both, as well as classical. This is a new thing that Steve Beresford is part of, B Reiki. Now, of course, I've already played a little bit of it, but this is not a real review. It's just to say what the one sheet says about this is true. These are improvisations, but they do embody what they describe. So the first track is titled Sad, Bedraggled Bee Lies in a Puddle. And I'm listening to it, and then I take a look at the title, and okay. And going to the next track. I guess this is a review, but I'll speak more about it as I get more further into it. The next track is Move the Bee into Sunlight. I'll be damned if it doesn't call that to mind by what they're doing. So this is an improvisation where they really do. It sounds like they were successful at embodying what they're describing in words, and I love those graphics. This one, my first impression is real strong too, and this is like cool. Discus is moving into seemingly a new area here. Mzylkypop. I had to look this up. I hadn't heard of this band. Threnodies and Ad. My first impression is very good. This is very cool. It's got cool people involved. Stephen Malander of Cabaret Voltaire. I knew that was what struck it. Peter Hope, Addie Newton of Clock DVA are all involved in this project with this these other people. And the second track, which came out, which is in these parts, could be a single. It could be an alternative chart single. It's pretty good. So I guess I have reviewed these, but that's still my first impressions. I again want to thank the folks who continue to send me music to review because it's high quality. It's in my wheelhouse. Fourth Dimension, Dave Newhouse of Newhouse Music, Discus Music. Thank you, folks, very, very much. I really appreciate the music, and I'm glad to see that by sharing the way I do, that I do turn people on to music and people buy it. Someone just shared that they thought that they dug the Transit Express, which I showed the other day, and I'd like to find it. I only have 2 of their albums. They have another album. I'd love to find it. I like this one even better than the one I showed. So if you see this person who got turned on to Transit Express, try to find this one, Priglacit, however you say it. I like this one even better. It's good shit. Good stuff. Someone mentioned harsh noise. I like harsh noise when I'm in the mood. Yeah. Someone else said this here. Pluto the God said, love how raw and real you put things. You give it to us like talking amongst friends. Telling your personal connection to the Moody Blues is really commendable. Well, I've said it before here that I just don't see a reason to be afraid of people, even though I encounter people who want to intimidate you. I've been through the ringer with folks, okay? And I see through bullshit, you know. I can be as harsh and ugly as the person who wants to intimidate me. So I'm not intimidated, because a person who is all harsh and buff and rough on the outside is still human on the inside. And somewhere in there is a human like me. I'm not afraid. And if my doing these videos like this, is it all helpful to any one person or to groups? Yes, good. We need to try to build a coalition of caring. We're so splintered in our thoughts, in our backgrounds, in our education and beliefs, that it's almost impossible to get a large group of people on the same page mentally, thinking the same thing. Back when, before technology, it was a little easier through TV and radio to steer the masses. Now you can't do that. And so it's just, it's madness. So my thought is, if we can just focus on caring, we don't have to agree. We just have to agree to care and take better care of one another, take better care of the planet. Which reminds me, a few videos back, someone had mentioned about climate change and the predictions for weather this summer. I said it a couple of years ago, and it's obvious to me that every year the cycle of weather will be more intense and more dangerous and deadly. This summer is going to be deadly hot, and I hope I'll be okay. Hope you'll be okay. But I'm enjoying these today as an overcast day, and so it's cool. So I'm cherishing these days, realizing what's coming. this is going to be a really, really tough season, summer. Mark my words. Because of climate change, among other things. So be careful, people. Take care. It's Friday. What do I have on my plate? Practice, rehearsal for chemicals, the chemicals gig next week. Waiting for the Homer's Friday new release post on Instagram to see if there's anything worth going down to the record store for. That's about it. Hope you're doing well, people. Family, you know I love you if you see this. I love you, folks. Talk to you. Take care.